If you saw the last live that I did, I had started this card front and had a little fiasco, and of course babies were needing my attention, so I wasn't able to finish it. So now I have a few ideas. I've sat on it for a little bit of how I want to finish it, so I'm going to attempt to finish it. I am noticing that there's still warping. Part of the issue that we had when I was making this during the live was it was wet when I put my sentiment down, and so it was not able to grip onto the embossing powder strictly. A lot of the rest of it did. I have my laminator here and it's set on a 3mm. I'm going to place my card front inside the parchment paper, and I'm just going to run it through a couple times until I feel like it's flat. Because it was 3D embossed, it should not lose the embossing portion, but it should flatten out just a hair that you're able to use the card front without much warping. And I'm going to run it through a second time just because there's a little warping still in the middle that I want to get rid of. Now that I've set my laminator aside, I have my card front I'm going to take out of the parchment. And what I'm going to do, I'm still going to do a little bit of experimenting, but I think I know what I'm going to try to do, which is I'm going to try to take a little bit of the extra from the scrap side of the paper from the 3D embossing powder and me rubbing the Distress Oxide over it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ink blend a little more yellow first before I stamp the sentiment and emboss it. This time I'm not going to use water though, but I will still use the squeezed lemon, and I'm going to use the brighter blue just because I want to make this one a little more poppier. So I'm going to start with the Salty Ocean Distress Oxide and just ink blending. Alright, so I'm showing a little bit of the distress from the smooshing. The Distress Oxides don't smoosh as well as, say, a water-based ink, like the Color Hive inks from Maker Forte, but you still get a good blend. And then I'm going to come back in with the Squeezed Lemonade. This I'm not going to put in it as much, just because I don't want it to overpower the blue. Just want to enhance the blue. There we go. So it's just dressed enough. So when you do something like that, I know I did it during the live, but you want to kind of treat this brush as if it is a paintbrush where you are intentionally making strokes versus when you're blending where you're trying to smooth all the lines out. I'm going to use the black Soot Distress Oxide again to restamp the Dance in the Rain sentiment. We're going to try it this way, and if I don't like the end result, I have another backup plan in my head, so we will see how this goes. So full honesty, the first time I stamped this out, I once again forgot to wait for my background to dry. So I've learned my lesson, hopefully double fold. That or I'm just too tired to realize what I'm doing half the time. I don't know. Can I claim mommy brain? Who knows? But anyways, I'm going to heat this up. And you'll know that your embossing powder is ready when everything is nice and glossy, when you turn it, and you can go like this and nothing comes flaking off. Or do that too. Alright, so now I'm going to just trim this down. So I am going to fussy cut it super tight. The scissors I use is probably super old and not really worth the time. I can't do that fun little move my paper around and my scissors will just cut it for me. Unfortunately, I'm using very old Creative Memory scissors. They're not dull, but they're not super great. Now that I've fussy cut that out a little bit, you can see it. It's not super exact. I just want to be able to pop this up on some foam tape using my Dollar Tree foam and my crappy scissors that are very gunked up. I probably am due for a scissor cleaning in the very near future. Let me see if I can line it up as close as possible. There we go. So I am going to take Elizabeth Costa Raptor's suggestion, and I'm going to put these cute little rain boots on the inside of the card itself. So I'm going to use the Remarkable Color Hive mini pad, the black, since this is super juicy, and we are going to try to heat emboss this. It may be an epic fail, but we will find out. Can't hurt if you don't try it, right? A little distressing, which is okay. I'm not bothered by it. All right, so now we are going to get the embossing powder back out and give it that extra bit of gloss. Since it's a water reactive ink pad, you don't have as much time as, say, the Distress Oxide. You want to make sure that you get that embossing powder on as quickly as possible and get to heating. Look at how pretty that turned out to be on the inside. Now we are going to add the front to the card. This is a Michael's pre-made pack. I still have several of these to get through. Because this is a 3D embossing folder, I'm going to use art glitter glue instead of a flat tape, just because I want to make sure that I get in all the crevices. And I will most likely have to press this at some point to make sure it fully stays. And just move it around so it's in a spot that I like. There we have it. Isn't that fun? Look at our little mistaker, Hot Mess Express, turned out to be really pretty with the little thing, with the little rain boots, the glossy rain boots inside. Yay! Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for joining in the crafty fun today, and I will have a lot more coming your way very soon. I have bows and sublimation tutorials that are coming up. So have a wonderful day, and thanks for watching. Embossing powder. This is the black. Forget the specific name, but the embossing folder. Okay, my family's going a little nutso downstairs. Today it's the kids with, or not the kids with all the antics, it's the adults. They're discussing all the rain we have today. Anyways.